to another stream. That might be a little loud. Let's see if we can turn that down a little bit. Yeah, I think, oh, that might even still be loud. Whenever you guys roll into the chat, let me know how loud the mic is and if it's at a good volume. But anyway, so in this stream, I am going to spend some time distro hopping from probably almost a decade of Arch Linux and moving over to Pop OS. And mostly the reason for this is just because I got my system. So I have a System 76 laptop that has honestly caused me a little bit of pain in the past. And also, if you're here, please let me know how the mic's doing, because it's like all the way on red. But anyway, it's caused me a little bit of pain in the past, and the System 76 laptop. But I finally got the battery replaced, so I'm like, all right, And I turned it back on, and then it like automatically opened into Pop OS, and I'm like, I don't feel like switching out, because I have 2 drives in there, and I'm like, I don't feel like switching it out. So you know what? Just gonna go with that. They have the new Cosmic thing coming out. The audio's clipping. Oh, jeez. It was clipping earlier, but how's it going, Carve? Carve, is my audio clipping? Let me know. I'm gonna blame this on this laptop too, if it is. Anyway. Yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to set everything up kind of from scratch. Bit choppy, no clipping. That sucks that it's choppy though. I guess I have to blame this stupid, one second. Let me go check it out on my other laptop here. I'm going to mute myself really quick. Okay, I don't think it's that bad. I don't think that's the laptop mic. I think it's definitely the Yeti. Let me tell you, if it was the laptop mic, I mean, it could be. But no, it says Yeti analogs. If I could like, you know what? I might be using the laptop mic. Because if I tap on it, it doesn't really seem to be that much louder. This is using, I think, Pulse Audio. This is like the first stream. I maybe should have. Well, you know what? You heard the taps? Are they really loud? Anyway, is it unbearable? If it's not unbearable, then we should be fine. But anyway, all right, we're gonna get started. If it's unbearable, let me know in chat if it's unbearable, and then I'll cut the stream and I'll restart again. But so I have had this laptop for a little bit now. The battery ballooned up on me. It's a bit loud. It's fine. Okay, I'll turn it down a little bit. Hopefully that's good. Okay. So this laptop gave me a lot of trouble in the past, like I was saying, and the battery kind of bubbled up, and I had some other issues with the laptop too, and I'm just like, I don't feel like sending it in, whatever. I'm just going to get another battery ordered from somewhere else. That came in, and I fixed it, and I'm like, all right, whatever. So I'll use it. I'll try it out. It automatically loaded me back into Pop OS, and like I said, they have Cosmic coming out. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to give them a shot. I'm going to see how this works, and, whatever. So I'm going to go through all of the steps that I would normally do. I'm going to set up Zap. I'm going to set up NeoVim, from scratch. It's going to take like 2 seconds. I'm not going to do it from scratch like the stream I did before. I'm just going to pull it down from my GitHub repo and get it all working. And I'm going to probably install some apps and things like that. I just set up my new KDE desktop with Pop OS. Cool. Nice. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've heard good things about Fedora. I was thinking about going back to Debian because I originally was a Debian user, and then I spent like 8 years in Arch Linux, and Yeah, I never moved after that. So I was like a year in Debian, and then switched right to Arch Linux for the memes. And now I kind of want something that's just going to get out of my way too, because I don't want to like come back and go, oh yeah, let me figure out how my window manager config. I don't even want to think about it anymore. I'm in my late 20s now, so I'm getting like old, I guess, and I don't want to deal with all the config files and things anymore. I'd like to just use it as close to stock as I possibly can, and then just like install some apps and just call it a day. Why Pop OS? Mostly because they have the new Cosmic thing coming out, and it looks like they're pretty confident that it's going to be better than GNOME. And I really hate GNOME. I mean, I'm using it right now, like this is GNOME, but I've had enough GNOME. And I want to see the new competitor. I want to see like a new solid desktop, and I'm really hoping that System 76 is going to deliver. So my hope is that over the next couple months, I'm going to get comfortable in Pop OS. You know what I mean? And then they're going to release the Cosmic desktop in, probably like 7 or 8 months. And then everything, I could just, not think about it. Hopefully it'll just be almost like a Mac OS experience, I'm hoping. It sounded better in the beginning of the stream. Get out of here. All right, we're going to try this, and that's it. Whatever. I don't know. Turn it up a little bit. Audio's weird? Okay. It must be better now. Why not just use Mac OS? I do have a Mac OS laptop. The reason that I don't... Now we're talking better good. No, I have an M2 Mac. I do. And I use that for whenever... I use that for most serious development. Because I can go anywhere with it. It's like, okay, for instance, if I pull this laptop over here, I'm like afraid to move it. I don't know if you can hear it. I'm going to be quiet. Right now I'm streaming. Maybe you heard that, maybe you didn't. I just pulled the laptop near the mic. Like the fans are just going. This thing is hot. You know what I mean? Versus if I stream on my Mac, which by the way has no fans. It has not one fan in it. And it's icy cold, even while I'm streaming. We could be doing anything on that. I could be compiling something, streaming. It's like barely warms up. So that is going to be, that's like just my development machine, just for those reasons. It has battery life that's like crazy. All that kind of good stuff. But I do, and like I'm a Linux enthusiast and hobbyist, all these kinds of things. And so while I don't really have the time to, because I'm working on so many things to like think about my window manager and like manage all these different packages and all this other kind of nonsense to keep like, an operating system situation stitched together. I still don't want to use Linux for like my streams and stuff when I can, when I'm at my desk or something. And so that's why I want to do this. Katie has many things you might want to check out. I'm here for the long haul. I want to try out. I want to try out the Cosmic, like that new Cosmic desktop when it comes out. That's why I'm here. Have anyone here tried Linux on MacBook Pro Intel 2018? Don't do it. Don't do it. Just literally get the M1 Air is more powerful than like and better and just all around a better laptop than like any previous Intel laptop. Never asked you. You back to work again? No, I'm not doing. I don't have a fiat job right now. I'm working. I am working on something right now. Right now, I'm working on. I'm working on like a project. So we just won. Well, we came in second place in a hackathon and won half a Bitcoin, and so now we're kind of bootstrapping a little nonprofit and some other things. Just some interesting things in the work. So that's kind of what I'm working on right now. So yeah, it's more fun. I'm not going back to corporate America. It's not happening. It's 100% not happening. I'm not going back to like doing leak code and whiteboarding and like all this kind of bullshit. I've been there, done that. I'm like not doing it again. How massive a different Linux and Windows? That's a massive difference. I do not recommend Windows. Unless you're gaming or something, whatever. Manjaro plus DWM, get out of here. You're under 25. How massive is you could get 1 month gift memberships with access to special perks. Who can? Yeah, actually, yeah, everybody here can get 1 month. What's this? Just my stream where I'm switching over. Might need your help with Hacker whenever you get back there. Yeah, so I'm going to be working on that too. I'm going to be working on the no strings. All right, so let's get started. We're going to use trusty Firefox. We're not using Chrome. We're certainly not using Arc browser because that thing's not available here, but also I can't imagine needing to sign into a browser. All right, Firefox is a piece of junk, but you know, whatever. It's a solid piece of junk. It's been around for a while. I don't have to sign into it. I'm not really worried about like privacy concerns that much, especially when you can get a custom user JS or JSON file in there, and so we may do that as well. I have a couple things set up already, like I already installed uBlock, and look at this. We got the tab tree on the side, so we can be cool. Like all the zooms using Arc browser. All right, so let's take a look here. I'm gonna start probably with a new terminal because this terminal sucks ass. The GNOME terminal is garbage. I don't like it. I don't like this blinky, big, blocky cursor, and I don't like it. And I don't even know if it supports ligatures, and it's not comfy. So, I think System 76 is developing an entirely new terminal. So I hope they do a good job with that as well. So let's take a look at. I think what I'm going to do is WesTerm again. Might do Kitty. Probably going to stick with WesTerm though for a while. Not that I would ever make my terminal look like this though. I don't understand people with the transparent terminals. That's not really my thing, to be honest, because who's coding like this? This is how I thought coding would be when I was like 17. I don't know. The mic input, I guess we just have to deal with that. I don't know. You know what? I'm gonna have to work with this laptop later on, and we're gonna have to work on the mic stuff. So let's install. How are we gonna install this? I haven't used apt in forever. Can I just sudo apt install WesTerm? Is it available? Sudo apt install WesTerm. Get the password there. Not a thing. All right, great. Let's click the download thing here then. Linux. Flatpak. Okay. Alrighty. What's this? You may wish to make it a bit more. What is this thing? An app image? Okay. App image might be okay. To download from the CLI, curl blah blah sudo blah blah blah. Okay, we couldn't just install the deb. Why can't I? Is there like a. What the fuck is Linux brew? Oh, this is a nightmare. I hate. There should be one package manager. One. And only one. I hate all of this. And it should be snaps. Alright, we're gonna. I guess. Move that there. Yeah, we're gonna have to add that to our thing though if we do it that way. Where's the deb? We're just gonna install the .deb. We're gonna do this, I guess. I hate this. Nix is the true and only package manager. Yeah, maybe one day I'll switch over to Nix. Package manager, I would never use Nix OS. That thing is an absolute. It just changes too many things for me. I'm too old. What are we talking about? Let's see. So in selecting, this is Linux, folks. Some packages cannot be installed. This may mean you have requested an impossible situation. Really. Following information, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Did I not? Is it not right there? I mean, there's the deb file. Okay, so that was pointless. Let's not do it that way. Installing on blah, blah, blah. Okay, yeah. Ugh. We could probably just grab the app image, right? So I guess let's do that. So let's do make deer. All right, let me make this a little bit bigger. That's not how that happens here. You don't have the crep lib SSL version. Yeah, it does say it right there. But it is not installable. Depends on blah, 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 but it's not installable. Well, you know, it could be because this is kind of old, I guess, maybe? Right? Because we're still on like 2204, and maybe it's on like a newer kind of thing, so could be that. We'll grab the app image. We'll grab the nightly one. We'll live on the edge here. Okay. Where did it open? Whatever, it's in my downloads. So we're gonna do make deer.local slash bin. We're gonna go into .local bin like this, and then we're gonna do copy from downloads the that again into here. All right, and then we're gonna move this whole big nightmare thing to just wes term like this. You know what sucks actually though, because like when I'm installing, you know what? What about the pop shop? Does that have it? Because what sucks is I'm not gonna get like a little icon and all the other things. I didn't think that this was gonna be my hang up. I didn't think that the first thing was gonna be just like, oh, this is kind of a pain in the ass. I'm not ready to commit to Flatpak yet. I'm just not ready for that. Where's my pop shop at? Wow, I clicked on this. It took forever. This is not a great experience. Let's do wes term. Okay, here we go. Let's do it. There we go. Install. I'm pretty sure this thing has like a horrible memory leak because whenever I open it up, my fans just go insane. Are you installing this on ARM? Nah. I'm going to make a lot of friends saying it. What? Like making fun of Nix? I hate Nix OS. I tried Nix OS. It's for purists, but the package manager on Debian and Ubuntu is golden. Yeah, except for when you're trying to do whatever I was just trying to do. Look at this. This is how you install software. Yup. Beautiful. Okay. There we go. Look. And then we can take this, right click it. Shit. We can't put it in. Can I just like, no? Okay. Well, whatever. I don't give a shit. So we're going to do that. Now, whenever I have a terminal, I want to open it, and I'm very used to opening it with Shift Enter, I think. No, Command, or not Command Enter, Alt Enter, I think. Yeah, or Super Enter, one of the others, one like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the keyboard, and then we're going to look for the command. The command should probably just be wes term. How did it even know that that was even there? Let's just do let's go into .local bin. I didn't even know that was in my path without me putting it there. All right, let's try that again. Wes term. Why would it even think that it's there? Okay. Wes. Okay. Now let's see. Wes term like this. Command not found. What's the command? Like, what is the thing to open this thing? Nothing? Whatever. I guess that's just what we're dealing with for now. I'll figure it out later. I was going to add it, like, as a command, but, I don't know. What's the command when you install it from the thing? Does anyone know? It's a Flatpak. It probably installed the Flatpak. I'm sitting here like I'm not ready to commit to Flatpaks, and it's just. Do I have Flatpak installed? Flatpak. Command Flatpak not found. No, I don't think I have that. Sudo apt install flag. Why? What does this do for me? That doesn't help. Yeah, it's all about snaps. We're moving to snaps. You have to favorite it from the app's grid to put it in the dock. Oh, okay. So like I can open. Look, I'm committed. I'm gonna figure out this Pop OS thing. But like, look, if I'm struggling to do things like, I mean, imagine the average. Well, maybe I'm worse than the average user, but let's see. What was I looking up again? Oh yeah, that app grid. How did I get the app grid open? There used to be a button. I got rid of it because it was ugly. And there also used to be a button down here, and I also got rid of that. So maybe if we look up like app, like startup application, yeah, show applications. There we go. And so now if we right click it, I can pin it to the dash. Nice. All right, that's fine. We'll figure out what the command for it is later, but at least now I can come down here and like do like a new window or something like that if I want to open up a terminal. Okie doke. So now what I'm going to do is from here, I need to get like a config. I have a config for WesTerm over on my GitHub. It's probably wildly out of date, but you know, whatever. Should be fine, I guess, maybe. So let's do, I think I have this in mock files, my creative name for my dot files. Here we go. Yep, look at that. Yeah, we're just gonna grab this, but I'm gonna save it. I'm gonna do like a git, or no, we'll just copy that, and then we'll do git into .mock files like this. Okay. And I'll use stow later, but you know, for now, should be fine. I should have, do I have WesTerm in here? Great, I don't even have WesTerm set up. 1 second, let me just upload it from my other computer. So complicated, everything. Mock files, and do I have WesTerm in here? No. So let's do a copy flag r dot config WesTerm.lua into here. Update, push, force push. I don't care what was up there before. All right, now we'll pull. Don't make me do this. Just choose for me. I don't care. And now I gotta do this shit. You gotta be kidding me. I haven't set up a new machine in a while. Chris machine at pm.me. And then we'll get rid of this. And then we'll grab this one. Now, can I get pull? There we go. Now we got it. All right, now we're gonna go into .mock files, and now we have our WesTerm.lua in there. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do .config. Do I already have a WesTerm directory? No. So we're gonna make dir WesTerm like this. We'll go into there. We will copy from .mock file .mock files WesTerm.lua into heat. into here. And I was kind of hoping just magic would happen, but maybe we're gonna reopen it. Really kill this, yes. And now we'll open this up. The font. Okay, yeah. So let's go get a font. So there's some new good monospace fonts out there. Let's see, can I find my stream again? I want to see like the comments and things. Wow, this is a nightmare. There we go. You're overcomplicating everything, man. Well, this is the thing. This is how I have it set up. But just wait. Just wait. At the end of it, everything's going to be good. It's all going to be nice. So now, and some of that stuff you just have to do. Like, you just have to set up the git config stuff. Like, it's just, you know, you can't really get away with that. Get away from that. Embrace tradition and put everything on a floppy. There we go. Yeah. Monospace? Yeah, let's go with Monospace. GitHub has a new font thing. So let's look up let's look up GitHub Monospace. We'll take a look at that. So you get a bunch of these. It's like they call it a super family of fonts, so it's kind of interesting. Download the latest release. So we'll grab these. Okay, so we're just gonna grab the zip and we'll wait for that to get pulled down. So there's like a bunch of different fonts that come with this. They're all kind of, you know, neat looking. Some of them I would never use, like these last, like this one's like a serif one. So I probably, whatever this one is the one I like, the one at the top there or the second one. Those ones are both decent. I hate the S on this one actually, so probably just their basic one would be fine for me. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to so that should be in my downloads, right? So now what we're gonna do is unzip monospace.zip. All right, so now we got this monospace v1. So we're gonna take monospace v1 and we're gonna move it into .local share fonts like that. Okay. Now we're gonna do fc cache flag f flag v. And now we got some fonts. So now what we're going to do is open up the, can I use this terminal? No, that's just like a whatever. So now we're going to go into .config, wezterm. I don't have neovim yet, so we're just going to use vim. Wezterm.lua. Okay, don't have vim. All right, so vi, wezterm.lua. A little bit of lag there. And now we'll just go with, I don't know, monospace neon. We'll put that at the top. There we go. And so there's a few. So there's a neon, xenon. That one's, I guess, like they're, I don't know if you can see it changing. I got to turn off that beepy sound too. Krypton, Radon. I love how this just changes like automatically for me. Makes everything just so much easier. And Argon. Yeah, so probably gonna go with neon. Yeah, that's just like kind of basic monospace font there. I don't want to get too cute with that. We can switch between workspaces like we do in window managers and GNOME using the dconf editor. Yeah, the Common Code font was fun. I'll probably bring it back at some point. You like Krypton? Interesting. I think you spelled Flatpak wrong. I probably spelled Flatpak wrong, actually. You're probably right. So if I try that again, this stupid noise. Flat. I guess I expected it to be spelled like this, but I guess it's spelled like this. Oh, I do have Flatpak. So if I go back over here, and if we did install it with Flatpak, I guess I'm a Flatpak user now. And we do this. There it is. All right, so now what I'll do, thank you for letting me know that I spelled that wrong. Now what I want to do is go to my keyboard settings, and we're going to go to customize. I'm going to do custom shortcuts. We'll do this. I didn't even put that Wi-Fi one there. Name, Wes, or we'll say Wes term. Command will be the command I just ran here. So like this. And just swap back over there. Paste that there, and then set the shortcut to that. There we go. All right. So now whenever I press Alt, Enter, I get a new terminal. And that's what I'm used to. So I like that. I think we're good here. Yeah. Just go away. I don't think we need any more shortcuts here. We can get rid of this GNOME terminal. Then we can take GNOME terminal out of my favorites because it's not one of my favorites, and put that there. And then I think we can get rid of this thing now. And now we got our font and we're ready to go. So next thing I'll probably do, how do you set font features on WesTerm? So yeah, if you want to set font features, if we do config WesTerm, WesTerm.lua, you have to do something like config.harfbuzz_features and then set it equal to a table, right? And you just do it like that. And then you can like change things like, you know, are ligatures enabled or anything like that. I don't really know all the stylistic sets that are available for monospace, but I'll probably just leave it as default for now. I don't really care. I do like the zeros when they have the slash in them though. Okay, what happened there? Oh, that's kind of neat actually. It's like almost like a Vim binding does that. Anyway, I mean it's going to be totally different once they put out the new Cosmic desktop. So this is like old GNOME right now. So I'm not gonna like get used to the interface. I think Alt Tab is gonna be my friend for a little bit, which honestly Alt Tab does the job. Everything I've ever really wanted to do, I feel like I can mostly get it done with Alt Tab. You know, and just kind of like move between them. It's literally that simple. And that's what I've been doing on Mac OS. So it's like I'm like all this complicated setup and all I really ever needed. Am I totally ditching Hyperland? For now. I don't want to like manage like my, you know what I don't want to care about? I don't even have it on this screen. But like, you know, like your top bar thing, I don't want to manage that. I don't want to manage like all the little widgets that are in there. I don't want, like, I'm just, you know, I want someone else to manage all that shit for me, you know? I'm just kind of over it at this point because I just have too much other shit to do. Like when I booted back into my Linux desktop, I was like, oh, well, let me go figure out what the current state of the art is for like my top bar, you know, like this bar thing up here, whatever that may be. I forget what there's Hyperbar or something like that. I forget what it's called. And then there's all the Zoomers are using it's Ew. It's called Ew, I think. And so that's what they're all using, but I'm like, I'm not learning that shit. And then so yeah, so there's that, and then I was like, I don't want to deal with that shit, and I don't want to deal with like all the other nonsense. So I just have too much on my plate right now. I'm working on way too many projects and things for me to like care. Too old for this stuff. Yeah, late 20s, man. It hits hard. Like, you know, like your back starts hurting and you don't want to like manage your distribution. You stop yelling at System D. You're just like, yeah, someone else can fight the System D battle. It's not going to be me. How do I manage my dot files? I usually just keep them all in the mock files repository, and then typically I use Stow, and I really should be using Stow. So like I'm gonna go fix that later. And I do like using Stow. I just right now I'm just like, let me just kind of speed run this for now. But I can't. One of the problems is I don't really manage like my NeoVim files in here because my NeoVim setup is kind of in a world of its own. I don't think I'll ever touch my Waybar config ever again. Yeah, you say that. You say that. But then you won't be using Waybar anymore. You'll have to use, if you use Hyperland, you actually have to use a special fork of Waybar. And then, you won't be cool anymore because the new tool that's out there has like better widgets and all this kind of thing. And it's like, I might as well install that because it works better and blah, 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 So, I don't know. Look, it's my problem. It might not be your problem, right? But like my problem is I will spend too much time goofing off and working on all that kind of stuff where I could just embrace the Alt Tab and just move on. But that's my take on it. Written in Golang, 10K plus stars. What's that? There's a good tool named Chesmoy for this. No, not doing it. Not doing it. Stow is fine. It's fine. I don't even need Stow, to be quite honest. I just put it all in a Git repo and just clone them one by one if I really need to. But then again, I want to have less dot files. I don't really want to have that many dot files. I got my terminal. That's special to me. And I got my NeoVim config. That's special to me. Nothing else is special to me anymore. Everything else is like, because I don't care. I interface with like a browser, my NeoVim config, and my terminal. That's what I like interface with like very heavily. Like once my NeoVim thing is full screened and right here, right? And then my browser is full screened and like right here, and I just swap between the two, or if I have like a setup like this going on, once I'm here, it doesn't matter what I'm in. It doesn't matter if I'm in GNOME or KDE or Hyperland or whatever it may be. And so, but like then I live inside of NeoVim for the entire time, or I'm living inside my browser, or I'm living inside the terminal in some sense too, because like that's what NeoVim's inside of. But like other than that, I just don't really think about any other programs that are on my machine, right? Like everything else is, forget about it, right? Like I don't really care for the most part. That's where I'm at right now. Just because like I put out a tweet recently. I said like it almost feels like I need like an infrastructure team to be running all of like my dot files and things like this. I've been using Windows because my job requires it. Now I'm dead inside doing Alt Tab everywhere. Dude, Alt Tab flow is solid. It's fine. Because even when I have these two things next to each other, I can just Alt Tab between them. And so like if I have two editors next to each other, right? I can just Alt Tab between. It's fine. It literally is fine. I don't know. I don't really have an issue with it. But then again, Windows, yeah, I'm not using Windows. That's not going to happen. Once you go back, you can't go back. Fair enough. I don't know. How often in chat do you guys, how often do you guys spend working on this stuff? Is it just me who, spent too much time and, now I'm, rebelling against it? Or, I didn't know if that was, a unique thing for me. But anyway, so now let's do Zap. So Zap is another thing. It's very simple. And it's just like my shell. It's just, it's something I understand how it works for the most part. Apparently, we don't have HTTPS on the site right now, but whatever. So let me copy this. We'll see what happens. Hopefully this just works. Oh, I don't have ZSH, so that's probably something we want to do. Sudo apt install ZSH. Yes. I feel the same. And now that you mention about needing an infra team to maintain your dot files, you should check uBlue, which is based in Fedora Silverblue. I've heard good things about Fedora. Too damn long, especially on NeoVim. Not that much to tweak in Windows. What do you mean by too? Oh yeah, you spend too much time on NeoVim. I feel like everybody spends too much time. Like I feel like a whole generation of people got memed. There are culprits, right? Like there are people out there who kind of push this thing, right? But I feel like a whole generation of otherwise productive engineers, and I don't even want to say productive, but like, because I don't believe you necessarily need to be productive, but I feel like a whole kind of generation, almost like a decade's worth of like engineers and people and computer Linux enthusiasts have been memed into this concept that like you're not a power user unless you're you're running some crazy dot file setup and you got the window manager going and you're running your whole desktop, like you got the WAVAR config, you got the, you're setting up your Wi-Fi stuff. You know how the window tray works. I mean, you wrote the C code even, and you've been patching with the C stuff. So you got all these wacky patches and things like this. And it's like, at what point does minimalism in software not translate to like minimalism in your life? You know what I mean? Like, you're doing all this shit, and, like, NeoVim is another culprit, but I actually really personally enjoy NeoVim, so, like, I can't, And I don't see a lot of great options out there. I think, honestly, if Atom was still a thing, or if Sublime was better supported, then I could maybe get behind one of those. I know Zed is something that's out that's kind of interesting, that's coming around. I can't bring myself to use VS Code. I just can't do it, just on principle, right? Just the same way that I can't use Chrome, so I use Firefox instead, right? So I see NeoVim as like something that like I'm kind of forced into using, but just that's not the only, like, it's fine. I very much enjoy it. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm forced into using anything, NeoVim is one of the great things that I'm forced into using. But yeah, there's not really much out there. But anyway, so you got to have all this stuff riced up. There are culprits, I will not name names, but people who just like, I feel like they just made a lot of videos and they're like just constantly, they get all that ad revenue, they're getting those clicks, they're getting 100,000 views, even me to some, in some cases, where it's just like, you're making all these videos on how to like do all this stuff, like especially at the operating system level. Because then you got to build up from your operating system, then you got to build your text editor, then you got to build, well, by then it's like, good luck building anything else. But then you got to choose all these tools too, because you got to be ethical, right? So it's like, in addition to the fact that like, you have to build your operating system from the ground up, right? Then you have to build your text editor from the ground up. Then you have to be ethical in your tool choices as well. So it's like, can't be listening to like Spotify or something like that. You can't be having any non-free software for the most part, and you can't use like, I don't know, like it's just hard, right? To live like that pure when you're trying to do all this stuff. And I think that having but that is to say that like I think having a desktop is just fine. Like, it's not that big of a deal. You call it bloat if you want, but it's like, bro, like, just install it, set it, forget it. It's fine. It's not a big deal. You know what I mean? Like, the desktop environment is like, there's plenty of them out there. You can choose between them. Not all of them are like super bloated. And even if they're a little bloated, I feel like we took that meme too far with like Windows has like an insane amount of bloat. You know what I mean? I feel like when you have like Candy Crush installed by default. But if I have like a calculator app on my operating system installed by default, if I have like a video player installed by default, if I have Solitaire installed by default, I don't give a shit. That's fine. I don't care. But when it's like Candy Crush and like all this other bullshit, and then like I'm literally getting ads in the fucking start menu, I mean, okay, then we've crossed. Now we can start using the word bloat, you know what I mean? There's a tiling window manager for window Roby. I don't know what that is. I'm tired of configuring NeoVim. It's lovely, but it takes too much time. I don't blame you for getting out, but like, I mean, it's just too easy for me at this point. Like NeoVim is just like I know everything that I need to know. There's nothing like I can't be surprised in NeoVim world anymore, right? Like nothing holds me back. I know enough Lua to where like if I see a problem in my config, I can legitimately go and open the plugin 9 times out of 10, and I can go edit the Lua code to like fix it, you know? So Zed looks like it could be a good mix of VS Code and Sublime. Yeah, I'm Team Zed probably for like most new people if they're trying to get away from VS Code. Shame those bastards killed Adam though, Vibing today, bro? Yeah, that's funny. I have to use browser-based low-code editing tools for work. I hate it. Yesterday I wrote a FTP proxy server so I can edit the code from NeoVim instead of the editor of the Need my motions. Right. Yeah, and that's another thing too. Is like just then you have these, and Vim is like supported in most tech. It's supported in Zed. It's supported in even VS Code and everything else. JetBrains. And imagine being like a Java developer and just going like, I have to use Vim. I can't use JetBrains. All right, so really quick, and then I'll get back to answering more questions and stuff like that in the chat. But let's move forward with this. So I have this now. If I remember correctly, I had to use C. I don't remember actually if I've used sudo, but it's change shell flag s, and then I have to point to the user bin z shell. That's what I think. So that's off the top of my head. Let's reopen this stupid thing. I don't think that worked. Let's just do change shell flag s. I don't know if it's capital S or lowercase s. I think it's lowercase s. User bin zsh. Now maybe without the sudo. I can just actually do this. That didn't work either. All right, how do you do it? How change to zsh? That's what I did. That's what I thought I did. This. Yeah. What's the problem? What's the issue here? I keep forgetting that I have it. Am I in Z, like Echo? I can't be in Z shell. Echo, because it would show a different thing. Yeah, I'm still in Bash. I have ZSH, right? This is the blah, blah, blah for new users, blah, blah, blah. You are seeing this message because you have blah, 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 blah. Quit and do nothing. The main menu. Populate your blah, blah, blah. Okay. What's the main menu? I'm curious. Please pick one of the following options. Configure settings for that. Configuring new completion systems. Pick some of the more. Abort all. 0. Just, yeah, leave me alone. I know. Okay. So now, like, I'm in ZSH, but I want to open a new terminal and be in ZSH. Why wouldn't that work? I have to log out? Bullshit, I have to log out. Ugh. Will everything be okay if I log out? Turn it off and on again. Shit. I should have done this earlier. Alright, does anyone have any better way of doing this without me having to log out? Change to ZSH without logging out. Yeah. Come on, there's got to be a wizard somewhere who knows. Someone get ChatGPT. Run it manually for now? That sounds terrible. We might have to do that though. Okay. Well, that's what we're going to do. All right, we're in ZSH. We're in the Pop! OS ZSH here. We're going to take this guy right here, and I'm going to copy, paste like this. Got the Zap installer going, so just imagine that you had Z Shell already working. And then what we got to do is close this again, and close this one, and then like restart it. And ZSH. There we go. And then we got our Zap stuff. See how easy that is? Zap just makes it like, if you just use Zap out of the box, just like what it gives you, I mean, like you're basically done. There's no more real need for much else. So now what I'm going to do, let's see, does anyone have any sourced that? That'd be fun. Yeah, I don't want to restart the computer. I'm streaming. Yeah, everyone's just saying just run it. Besides if I ever tried Starship RS, yeah, but I don't know. I don't want to do that. I literally wrote a plugin manager for this, so I'm going to use my own. This is mine, so I'm going to use it, and I'm going to shill it, and I'm going to say everybody should be using Zap because look how easy that was. Other than the fact that I have to log out then if I want Z Shell to work, but that's a skill issue on my part. But Zap works fine and is good. The mic's too loud? I'm gonna have to figure out this mic situation. I turned it down a little bit. Hopefully that helps. What? Shut up. What is Zap? Zap is it's like a plugin manager for Z Shell. That's perfect. Okay, good. All right, well, hopefully that works. This mic has been like a whole nightmare. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to use something that I hate, that I think I could have prevented this at the time, but there's this NeoVim version manager. It's called Bob. So Bob NeoVim version manager. And so this will allow me to install the latest, and I have like a weird way of like doing NeoVim at this point, so like I just, it is what it is. But I probably, okay, so if I want to install this, probably going to need to either install it with Cargo. I am using Rust anyway for some things, unfortunately. So probably we'll just go install Rust. So install Rust. Should be that simple. And then that'll give me Cargo. Proceed with installation. The default place. Yeah, I'm not doing anything weird. Zap is simpler than OMyZ Shell? Yeah, it is. OMyZ Shell is just a bunch of nonsense I don't like. It's just, there's too much going on there. Zap is like basically one shell file, like one shell script file, which I like that better because if you want to go understand Zap, you go read one file and it's like you basically understand Zap. Someone stole my .org too, by the way. Bastard. Probably someone who knows what this project is too and wanted to be a prick about it. So, anyway. There's all this junk, but like you can ignore all of it, and like really all of it is just this file. Like if you just clone this file, you basically have Zap. It's a little over 150 lines, but some of it I don't really count as like real code. Like this could be, But like you can understand this. You could go through this file, and like read it in like an afternoon and like actually grok what's happening here, So like that's why I like this. Everything else in the directory is like, .github, there's some completions, but the completions are just like, like if you type clean, like then it's gonna give you what I'm saying? Like it's nothing. Plugins, that I think that's just like it's just a .keep in here, that's just where we clone the plugins and stuff. Templates. Oh, this is just what we put in your, that's like the default config that we put there, so that you just have that. So that's nothing. Then there's an editor config, .git ignore, pre-commit YAML, contributing, a license, a README, and an install script. But at the end of the day, if you want to understand what Zap's doing, it's like this is it. So that's why I'm a fan of it. Use Rust up? Yeah, we're using Rust up. Yeah. So let's source this like that. And now we're just going to cargo install Bob Nvim. Now, I wish he would have named this Nman or something. Just something that would have been better. But Bob, it's just like, what are we... Like, come on, man. Like, I think someone... I don't know whose Discord chat it was where this happened. But I know someone in Discord just told... Because he was like, what should I name it? And someone's like, Bob. And he's like, okay. And did it. So here we go. Gonna install this. Now what this will let me do is I don't really give a shit what apt has for NeoVim. I can just, Bob install nightly and or stable or what the hell is latest? I don't know. Anyway, I usually just move between nightly and stable. And usually I actually just stay on nightly. It stands for Biovim Origin Ban. Yeah, exactly. Like the way you explain it. Hi from Spain. How's it going? How's Spain? I don't really hear about Spain in the news. You guys might just be able to eke through the end of the world that's apparently coming soon. Who even uses stable? Oh, I don't know. Well, I think a lot of people use stable because they just install NeoVim with their package manager. So I would say pretty much everybody's using stable for the most part. I would say like 90-something% of NeoVim users are using stable. Probably more. Probably they're using older ones too. That are like, who knows what's bundled with Pop OS? It could be like 0.8, 0.7. Never heard of Bob Nvim? Pretty cool. Yeah, it's nice. As Mordecai, he's in our Discord somewhere. I think his name was... He's had a few different names, I think, in there. Who are those people? And probably Barebone Nvim, huh? Yeah, probably, honestly. When I was working at Lockheed, everybody was using Vim, and they're like, I'm using Vim. I'm using Vim on the server, blah, blah, blah. And I'm watching them, and I'm like, okay. And literally, like, they have... Not one of them understood how the plugin mattered. Like, even normal software engineers have no freaking clue for the most part. Like, you're living in... Don't project, like, your understanding of, like, Vim and NeoVim on, like, the average software developer because they just... They have no clue. And good for them. So, Bob... Because then they don't have to do shit like this. Bob install neo or nightly, like this. Chris on Nvim, did you give a shot to VTSLS instead of TS server? No, I've been using TypeScript tools. At some point, I may switch over to that though. I'd have to figure out like what the actual like big benefit of it might be. So okay, so now we have that. Do I have NeoVim? No. Okay. Maybe if I like restart my terminal here or something. Yes. And then we're gonna do a new Wes term, and we're gonna do a quick ZSH. You know what I should do? Do I have NeoVim now? Of course I don't. Why not? What's the problem? I installed it. Oh, okay. I gotta do Bob use nightly. Like this. That didn't work. Make sure you have that stuff in your path. I thought you were going to add it to my path. I don't remember doing this. I remember this just working. Can we also just quickly sudo apt install vim? I'd rather use that than vi. Is it possible to rename a file with TypeScript and update the imports? That's the biggest thing I like, plus the actions. Yes, that is possible. They have like a function thing. Let me blow away this WesTerm situation. Alright, and now we're just going to do vim.config, oh no, .zsh rc. Do I really have this set somewhere else? Whatever. Alright, so we're going to do export path is equal to, should I do it before or after? One second, let me check if I actually have this set. .conf, I know, I keep forgetting. HRC, Bob. No, I don't. So how come then that it works? Let me try taking a look at exports. Oh yeah, I do. Oh, okay. So then we're going to say path is equal to, and we do home dot local share Bob nvim bin, and then we're going to do $ path like this. Okay, and now we can probably source the .zshrc file, and now if I do nvim, boom, we got neovim. All right, cool. So now we're gonna go grab this. And then maybe I'll look at some other stuff after this. I might look at setting up a custom user file for Firefox as well, but we'll see. Maybe if there's any interest. So now, and also let me put a poll over on YouTube because I am curious. Show your support. Okay, now, how do you do a poll? Polls used to be easier than this, I feel like. I can't do a poll? Add emotes? I don't want to do emotes. I want, oh my goodness. Is it like a command? Can I do like poll? Oh, it's because I'm on my other YouTube account on there. So I can, yeah, okay. View my channel. Well, I got 56 people watching. Interesting. Whatever. Plus, start poll. Do you spend too much time on your .files/setup? And we'll just leave this as yes or no. There we go. I'm just curious what you guys think. Yes. No. Someone said no. Okay. How's it going, Ubic1? I'm actually curious, so try to answer it truthfully. So it looks like yes is eking out the win right now. So I'm going to prescribe something, if you are, at the end of this, because I know it can't be only me, right? That's just like, screw it. Just throw it in the towel. But you kind of like it. So let me bring up another topic for you guys really quick before we do this. It's just interesting. It's called sophisticated procrastination. So sophisticated These are difficult words to spell. Procrastination. Okay. So I think a lot of people have this problem as well. I think there's a lot of overlap, actually, with these people. And then these kinds of people find this concept of PKM as well, which is a personal knowledge something, personal knowledge system or map or something like this. And so you have this idea of sophisticated procrastination. One time I found, here we go, productivity, the ultimate procrastination tool. This is new, so maybe it's a good article. I don't know. It's by Forbes, so probably not. But let's see here. So productivity is overwhelming. We often find ourselves caught in a perplexing paradox. The more we strive to be ultra productive, the more susceptible we are to sophisticated procrastinating. Who wrote this? Anyway, so basically the concept is that you'll tell yourself, because you're being productive working on your dot files or your NeoVim config, which is going to make you more productive, because if you make your NeoVim config better, then you're going to be faster. If you make your workflow better on your desktop, then you're going to be faster. You're going to be better. You're going to be, you're going to be like Tony Stark, dude. You're going to be Iron Man. You're going to be sitting there just like throwing windows around with your hands and moving super fast. And then once you get your setup done right, I mean, that's the moment that you're going to start creating that next big web app, or you're going to start programming robots. You know what I mean? You're going to, once you get like your home server kind of thing set up perfectly, I mean, then you're going to build like an AI on top of it, and you know what I mean? And you're going to have this crazy home automation set up. And then like, I mean, reality kind of sets in too here, which is just like you do all, like, for instance, if you have like a crazy home automation setup, I mean, maybe it's kind of cool for you, but like you probably spend a lot of time on it and you're probably never going to really get to show it off. And even if somebody comes over and looks at it, they're going to be like, ah, neat. You know what I mean? But even getting off that topic, sophisticated procrastination, you're going to spend a lot of time working on all these things. You'll tell yourself and you'll trick your brain into thinking, oh wow, I'm being super productive because I'm on Linux and I have this crazy config set up and I have all my dot files set up like all wild, but then, especially if you're not the YouTube channel who is promoting it and like selling it and like getting people's views on it and all these kinds of things, it's kind of, at the end of the day, I think a pretty empty experience. Personally. Just for me personally. Right? Like, I just personally think that. If you're a streamer, then maybe it's probably better because like you get to show it off all the time. And now this is probably not true for everyone. I'm sure somebody out there has their setup all perfect and the way they like it and they do all this kind of stuff. And they're still productive in doing other things that they want to get done. But I think that there certainly is a subset of us who do all this kind of stuff and then we're tricking ourselves thinking like, oh yeah, I'm doing all this kind of stuff and I'm being super productive when, and in reality, you probably could be doing other interesting things somewhere else. And that thing doesn't necessarily have to be, creating like shitty web apps or something like that. It could be like really anything. The other thing is that it has, I think, a really heavy overlap with this PKM thing. So, not a machine gun. PKM, like, okay, for instance, maybe if I actually spell out the thing. So personal knowledge management. That's what it is. Not a map. It's management. So personal knowledge management. This is another like interesting hole you can find yourself in. A nice little rabbit hole you can find yourself in. So then you're going to find out, and if you don't know the words I'm going to say something like Zettelkasten. I'm going to say Obsidian. I'm going to say Notion. You know what I mean? Logseq, whatever it's called, right? So let's see if we can find some images of it, of like the apps. Here we go. Now, the thing is, let's see, can I see the image? Yeah. So the thing is, you think that if you install Evernote and then you're keeping track of all your notes, or you think if you install Obsidian and you're keeping track of all... Well, before I get onto this topic, let me see if what I said before anybody kind of like understood what I was saying. Let's see here. Because maybe I'm just talking to myself. Maybe other people are not having this problem that I'm having. Or not noticing this about themselves. Let me see. Actually, I'll pull it up here. Okay, so most people are still saying yes with 31 votes. Spend time, kind of like it. If I have too much free time, then yes. Sometimes it's boring, though. I only work on configs if it's necessary in quality of life. Dot files for life. That's based. That is the reason why I kind of can't come back to NeoVim from Helix. Helix doesn't have too much to config. So you mean you switched to Helix from NeoVim? Yeah, I never have fallen to this kind of thing. The moment when it's boring to touch my dot files is when I really need to make something. Yeah. No, that's, yeah, that's a valid fact. The problem is how lazy you are to work on those productivity things and how much time or tinkering needed to pull it off, since that mindset never ends. And yeah, I don't think that mindset ever is really satisfied. I think when you're in that mindset, you're constantly improving, always like, oh yeah, let me fix my bar thing up here at the top. Let me, switch terminals. Let me hop to a different distro. Let me, that kind of thing. Can't agree more. Great. I'm glad this is striking a chord somewhere. My config is for developer experience. Gotcha. I know that guy. He is me. Yeah. Yeah, I think we're all more similar than we think, right? Like, I think it's just sometimes a lot of streamers don't want to sell this to you though, because they want you to, they want to sell you on this, like, other crazy, insane thing. You know what I mean? And it's good content to be constantly hopping around there. I wish there was an Obsidian plugin for NeoVim. There is. Of course there is. Come on now. In that case, I just even build my own keyboard from zero. And dude, people do it. People actually build their keyboards from scratch. Or if you're an absolute nut, you have one of those split keyboards. I'm only kidding. I know that they're good for, like, what's it called? What's it called? Ergonomic reasons, right? You can get a messed up wrist or something like this. But, and then that's not even enough. You build your split keyboard, and then you're not going to use QWERTY. I met the most productive guy in my life who taught me a lot, and he used Alt-Tab, didn't know anything about window managers, etc. He cared about the things he was supposed to work on. I think more often than not, I would say, if you're stuck in this trap, or you believe that you're stuck in this trap, right? The way, just test it out. Just give it up for a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, if you have another drive or something like that, like how I'm doing, just install something simple as shit. Install Ubuntu, install Pop! OS. Don't give a shit about it. I want you to use one tool, which is Alt-Tab, and then the other tool would be, if we do another window here, right? Look, you got Alt-Tab, which swaps you between applications, and then if you have the same application, you can do Alt-tilde, right? Just install anything. I mean, dude, it could be Linux Mint. It doesn't really matter. Probably, I would say, the least friction operating system, though. Don't get cute. Just literally choose Ubuntu or Fedora. You know what I mean? Just something super simple. And live with Alt-Tab, and then don't care about all that kind of shit. And then just... You know what I mean? Just use the stock basic defaults. Because, like, once I'm done installing NeoVim, and I do like to have a custom user file for Firefox just to get rid of all the, like, extra junk that's in there. But once I'm done with that, I'm done. That's it. Nothing left to do. Just gonna go then. I have plans for what I need to do. I have a nonprofit thing I'm working on. I have... some other things I have to learn how to do and apps that I have to build. I'm building a ton of different apps on, you guys probably don't know or not familiar with it, but it's called Noster. I'm building tons of apps on there and learning about, like, Bitcoin and these kinds of things. And, like, I'm building there, and I'm, kind of making money doing it. And so it's kind of fun. And so it kind of breaks you out of that, this config hell. It's almost the same thing as, like, tutorial hell, if you've ever been there. Let me see here. It's kind of hard for me to read this shit. How can I make this simpler? Can we collapse this maybe? I don't want to end the poll. There we go. Know what you mean. I've tried many note apps. Don't work for me. I'm going to get into the note apps too next. Hopefully you guys are still interested in the note apps thing. I guess there is one to interact with your files in Obsidian. We're going to talk about Obsidian too. Probably just need Markdown Viewer and NeoVim or something. This is the question right here. This question right here is going to lead you down a nightmare. This question right here, you probably just need one little thing, you know what I mean? You probably just need like whatever kind of thing. Like, oh yeah, I'll just use this. So for instance, this question, it's a dangerous question. I'll tell you why. Because I probably just need a Markdown Viewer. Okay, so then it's like, but I want it to be in the terminal. So then I install Glow, right? If you ever heard of Glow. And then it's like, but Glow doesn't support images. So how do I hack in images? Now I got to install something like Uberzug. But then that guy got mad at the open source community bullying him or something. And then he dipped out. And so then he left that project, kind of whatever. And then you got to get the maintainer. And then it's just like, I can't use Glow. So now you're on this like new quest to like find Markdown Viewer. I will say just really quickly what I would recommend, like Markdown Viewer, whatever. I would just recommend just if that's like all you needed or whatever, I probably would just install Obsidian. And if you ever just want to read your Markdown files that you write in NeoVim, just literally open Obsidian and just open the Markdown file in there, and it'll look fine. It'll, I mean, I'm just saying, you don't have to do it, but that's what I would recommend. The thing is just to know when to differentiate when you do something because you need, and when you do something for fun. Well, I think it's worse. I think you do it out of some like weird pathological other desire. I don't know that it's necessarily fun. I feel like it's almost like this, you have this desire to be productive, but you don't know where to like put all that energy. And so then you funnel all that energy into something. 'Cause I need to be productive. I need to be building something, blah, blah, blah. And sometimes it's fun. It usually starts as fun. But then I think after a certain amount of time, it becomes like a really negative, weird thing that happens in your head. That's just my personal opinion. It doesn't have to be like everybody's experience, Ergonomic ortholinear split keyboard. Yeah. You need to be the guy who has the ergonomic ortholinear split keyboard using like Colmac or something like this. And then you need to install, you have your choice of Arch Linux or Gentoo. From there, then you have to, build up from a window manager and all this kind of thing. And then you clearly have to make the decision between either Emacs or NeoVim or something like this. And then you have to build all that. And then by the time you're done with that, then maybe you can start to then you'll be ready. You'll be ready to get some real work done. Have you seen that stenographer keyboards are becoming a thing? You can type up to 300 words. I'm never typing up to 300 words per minute. I'm not like a slow typer, but I'm not a fast typer. And so this is never going to be in my wheel. It's not something I'm going to do. Thing is that with custom keyboards, you can literally create NVIM style combos, sequences, chords, all the goodies embedded in keyboard firmware. No, I'm not doing this either. It's cool, but I don't know. If I'm working on the laptop a lot but that's the thing too, I'm on my laptop a lot. So if I had this ortholinear situation, split keyboard thing, I'm always on my laptop. And maybe it won't bother this other person, but like whoever they may be who has all this stuff set up. And like I know, like for instance, some names come to mind with the split keyboards. Like I know the Primegen is one big name in the Vim space who uses that. I think TJ uses a split keyboard like that too. I mean, again, but these are streamers. They're doing all this kind of thing, and I will say that like honestly, if you are using it, like just the fact that like the wrist strain alone is probably a decent reason to use it. But if you're just using it for a different reason, if you're just using it because like it's just going to be that next thing that you're just going to spend probably too much time thinking about, well then you know yourself, right? You know if you're going to be what you're going to be doing. If I'm working on a laptop a lot, I use a floating window manager. My RSI starts laptop a lot, and using a floating window manager, my RSI starts acting up like crazy. Interesting. This is Wes' turn. Good evening, Dan. So even you use custom keyboard, you can still buy a QMK supported. It's just too much. You did try Glow? Yeah. Trust me, we're probably we're all in the same place. How is the Noster landscape? The last I've heard about it was when it was launched. It's getting interesting. I don't, just from a very bare bones base level, for me, it's just the only thing that I think answers the question right now. The question being kind of owning your data. And then also, how do I own my identity without all this newfangled, stupid bullshit blockchain junk? It's just a private public key pair, right? So that's just, that's why I like that. But I'm not going to get too far into that right now. I saw the opening of the Abyss with Markdown viewing in NeoVim and decided that's for another day. Yeah, just put that off. I actually might have to switch to a split keyboard, but because of wrist problem I have. Yeah, I'm not saying, look, that's not the point I'm making. The point I'm making is not, why you're switching to a split keyboard. You know why it is. So if you're switching because, look, maybe you have the time and you're going to do it in a healthy way or maybe your wrists or something like this, then great. You know what I mean? But you also know yourself. If you're just doing it because it's the next thing, then again, you know yourself. I have an Advantage 360, a Korn keyboard, and I'm currently soldering my own Korn keyboard fully in the rabbit hole. Well, well, there you go. I mean, if it's fun for you and you're enjoying it, then hey, I'm not going to knock you on it. Currently have an ortholinear split keyboard and type in Dvorak. I bought a Caracorder, although I probably won't learn to use it anytime soon at this rate. Maybe you should have just bought a guitar. Do you know about the Flipper Zero? Have you tried one? I've heard of it. Seems cool, but it was super expensive back when someone at work showed me that it existed, and I don't know if they're still super expensive, and also they were sold out. But it's another thing though. It's just I don't know what I don't know what my use is for it. Oh, well, great then. Awesome. Also, massive wrist pain. So there's that. Yeah. I mean, look, that's definitely not the argument that I'm making here. All right, so back to my couple vices, right? Which is NeoVim and my thing here. So let's. Oh yeah, actually, I wanted to touch on the personal knowledge stuff first before I do that. This stuff I think is another rabbit hole in the same world. It's it's like a perfect analog for a different medium, and because I see this shit. I was on Medium, medium.com, the blogging website, so I'm reading blogs and stuff, and so I read one thing on Obsidian. I read one thing on Notion. Because I was looking for something where I could keep all my notes in one place, and I'm and I wanted to view them, how this other guy's saying, he's saying, he wants to see his Markdown files, actually rendered and how you would see on the internet Markdown, not how you would write Markdown with hashtags and whatever else, the syntax. So I'm okay, I just want to see my notes and this kind of thing. So I'm all right, what can I do? So I'm between Notion and Obsidian and Logseek and some other shit, and even I know this Bear Notes thing was a thing and a couple other things, right? So, but by the way, I mean it's as wide as it is deep with these tools. So I'm looking at two of them. I'm looking at let's zoom in a little bit here. I'm looking at Notion and Obsidian. That's where I was between. And then once I found that Obsidian, you get to keep all your Markdown files, and I'm oh, okay, cool. So I can keep all my Markdown files. I got this stupid graph that I'll never use, but whatever. I'm not going to ever look at the graph. I don't give a shit about that. I don't care about all this other stuff. I just want to keep all my Markdown files in one place so that, I can, go back and reference them and, turn them into blog posts or whatever it might be. So, great. I choose Obsidian because I just, whatever. And then I start getting because I read about it a couple times on Medium, I start getting all this content pushed at me that was like personal knowledge management content on Medium, right? So like the general category. So it kind of, now I'm just looking for one tool to do a thing, but now because this algorithm exists in this on Medium, I'm now sucked into this new world of personal knowledge management. So I'm reading like, oh, why I switched. This bullshit too, and it's like even what I'm doing with this stream, right? Well, I'm distro hopping the Pop OS, right? But like this nightmare, which is just like why I switched to thing. If it starts with like why it's like, oh my god, like why I'm switching from NeoVim to VS Code, why I'm switching from VS Code to NeoVim, why I'm switching from NeoVim to Emacs, which who's ever going to do that? Probably no one. But there's a lot of the same shit. It's like the same thing in this world, where it's like why I'm switching from Notion to Obsidian, why I'm switching from Obsidian to Apple Notes on my phone because I'm tired of all this bullshit. Why I'm switching from Logseek to blah blah blah. Why I'm switching from Emacs org mode to something else, right? And then in the same way that you see all this switching shit, then you see use pairings of tools. So it's like, oh, using like because you're going to see this kind of person who if they're drawn to Arch Linux, they're probably drawn to Vim and NeoVim. And so it's how do I but then even editing the text and structuring your Obsidian Vault, right? Then that becomes a thing because it's the same thing of like, oh, how do I edit text in NeoVim? It's like, well, I got to learn all the motions and things. Oh, well, in Obsidian, then it's like, oh, I got to learn this concept, and you probably don't know this word, but it's called Zettelkasten. And so it's like, how do I structure my notes? I have to keep them like in these different little boxes and like do this kind of weird thing. And so there's like an analog everywhere for personal knowledge management. There's like an analog back to the same rabbit holes that I kind of found myself in while I'm like working on all these other dot files and things like that, right? So you see all this why I'm switching shit, then this quick capture stuff. These are probably all like bullshit fucking extensions and things like that. Self-analytics, like imagine tracking yourself for like what, oh, did I write a note today? What did I write? How many words did I write today? Oh my God, like imagine. And then you'll never get here. You'll never get to actually publishing on Substack. You're never going to get to like actually like making a YouTube video or start streaming or never getting there, because the trick of all this bullshit is that it's just endless failure to launch. As I think too. You fail to launch. You fail to ever like actually execute on something and get it out there. You fail to ever start that YouTube channel. You fail to ever get that video done. You fail to ever write that blog post. Because you're so stuck in the mud of all these different tools and things. Visual thinking, shut up. Like, maybe, I don't know. There's some times where it's nice, but again, like, what the hell is ref management? Augmented content? I wish I had names on it. Read it later, Instapaper. Dude, I had Instapaper for a minute, and I saved a bunch of things that I probably could have just bookmarked and then got rid of the bookmark later or something like this. But I had Instapaper for a minute, and all I realized was that I saved a million things to my Instapaper and never read any of them. Project management. Same with project management. I mean, even this, it just goes to, like, I tried to use Trello for a couple things, and it's just never, unless you have a serious team, then please don't, like, use project management by yourself, Word processing, again, whatever. I don't know. It's probably a problem for someone. Curation, recall. Yeah, I write so many notes. I need to, like, recall them. Maybe you're a PhD student. Maybe this tool is useful for you, but probably not. Audio notes, anyway. Hopefully this struck a chord. Let me go see if anyone else thought anything about that kind of stuff, but I don't know. Every thought process needs to be recorded or you actually lose a part of yourself. I don't need to record everything. It's fine. Sometimes you just lose things. Lunar Emacs when? Not anytime soon. Obsidian is bad without Vim mode. I believe it. More rabbit holes. And I'm sure there's other things out there that I haven't gotten sucked into that exist. But once I saw the personal knowledge management one and I had already been sucked into other ones, I didn't fall for it. I did not fall for it. I was like, you know what? Nope. Now I do have an Obsidian, but I literally just throw markdown files in there. I just keep it's like a junk drawer of markdown files. And it's just like I try to just like toss them in there and I don't care. I try to tag them, whatever, but I'm not like going to do this thing where I'm install. Oh, by the way, Obsidian has plugins too, man. It has all kinds of plugins, all kinds of fun plugins that are managed by the community, and then they go out of date, and then you don't have that piece of your workflow anymore, and you're stressed about that, and then you hope that either it makes it into the core or that someone else forks it and starts their own new thing, or maybe you got to go rewrite it yourself, or you just learn to live without it. Thoughts on VimWiki? VimWiki was not for me. So I didn't like it. I was just, don't need it. Zettelcast and note-taking? Yeah, so I read all about that. I was like, oh man, I'm going to be like a note-taking guru. And then, just didn't, So we're going to close the poll here with 76 votes. A pretty overwhelming majority of people think that they are spending maybe a little bit too much time with their setup and their dot files and all this bullshit. I would say for the most part, got to run from these YouTubers who are trying to keep you on this hamster wheel. You know what I mean? And I don't know. Get off of it. Do the thing that's in the back of your head that you're telling yourself you can't do. Do the thing in the back of your head that says, like, I can't just install Pop! OS and use Alt-Tab, can I? You can. You can. Like, you can, and it's fine. And you're not going to I'm not going to bully you. Listen, I'm a Linux power user. I know a lot of nonsense about Linux and NeoVim and all this kind of stuff. I'm not going to, no one's going to, like, it's okay. You can walk it back. You can just be a normal desktop user. You can just not think about it anymore. Just all that context that you constantly have loaded into your mind about personal knowledge management and your desktop environment stuff and your window manager and your text, just like drop like 90% of it. Keep the stuff that's super cool, like core to you, right? Like for me, something that's core to me just is NeoVim. And that's really it. Like I have my terminal config, which is WesTerm. It's not super complicated. And then I have NeoVim. And that's like as far as one human I think can really go. Like you could just, that's probably it, right? Like I don't think I can also manage my whole desktop environment setup and a personal knowledge management system and all these kinds of things. So especially if I'm trying to like do a YouTube channel where I'm trying to put videos out and stream, and I'm also trying to like ship other software and stuff too. Like I'm trying to make applications that, users actually want to use. So I have to build that stuff. So I have to learn everything that's there. I just don't have time. So anyway, I'm going to end this poll. I think after 83 votes, it's a solid yes. So again, do the thing that you're telling yourself you definitely can't do. Do the thing that's like super simple, like installing Ubuntu and using Alt-Tab, and just, and just chill out. Now, I'm not saying you have to use things that are totally against like your morals, so like, or ethics. If you really believe that like, Mac OS is evil incarnate, which, you're probably not far from the truth, then don't use it, but anyway. So I'm going to end this poll, and the next poll I'm going to put up is going to be, and probably it's going to be less of you, but I am curious. Do you use some sort of PKM? So like a personal knowledge management thing, like something like Notion or Obsidian or Logseek or something like this. That's what I'm curious about. I think it'll be less. I think I think most people. I think most people will say no. But we'll see. It's a common clickbait title. Yeah, the I switched to whatever. Yeah, tired of that shit. Tired of that shit, even though I'm doing it right now. But then again, I used Arch for like 8 years, man. So it's like, whatever. Voice is clipping, whatever, right? You just got to deal with it. But in your brain or memory, I think a lot of this stuff gives you the feeling that you're doing something, even though you're not actually doing something productive, just chasing dopamine. And that is exactly it. That's the sophisticated procrastination. Voice logs is some Star Trek stuff, yeah. It'd be cool to have a captain's log, though. Love this stream. I've been feeling the same for like 5 to 6 years now. Just turned a couple of months ago, and have almost stopped all of this almost because sometimes I still relapse. Yeah, I don't plan to relapse. I'm just sticking with Neovim. That's going to be like the most difficult thing that I have, and then everything else is just going to be the most basic shit. We're using Pop right now, but I am fully willing to switch back to Ubuntu if I have to or something like this. I can't... Now, listen, I could use like GNOME on Arch Linux and everything would be... I could still do Arch Linux, but the problem is, if I stick with Arch Linux, I know that I'm gonna like go back to, one more thing, whatever, so I'm just not gonna do it. Take into consideration that most people are here because this is exactly the type of content you're making. I know, yeah. Well, that's the point. That's why I think it's useful for these people, right? What even is a PKM? Yeah, I think I went over that. Personal knowledge management, which actually I'm surprised that after 32 votes, it's pretty neck and neck. Because the next logical question I'm going to have to ask after this one is, like, do you think it actually makes you more productive? Just having Obsidian install count as using it. Not really, but, I just create a something.txt file or write on paper. I want to be one of those absolute chads who's just got, like, their desktop is just filled with files. You know what I mean? Like that guy. To do comments.mvim count? Nah, I don't think so. All these ideas, digital PKM, bullet journaling, minimalism, and even how you drink coffee just seem to sprout parasitic micro industries vying for your attention. It's turtles all the way down. Hilarious. Facts, man. This is funny. What is a PKM again? So a PKM is a personal knowledge management tool. So it's something like Notion, it's something like Obsidian, something like blah, blah, blah. Now, again, there's a nuance here. I'm not saying that these tools are completely useless or that they're all inherently bad or anything like that. I still have Obsidian, right? But how I use Obsidian is I just throw markdown files in there now. And there's loose structure, very loose structure. But because I can't, I have to load up too much context. If I like leave Obsidian for like, if I left it for like say a month and then came back, if I have to load all this context back in my head again about how the hell I use this thing and like what my system is, then it's it's completely counterproductive and it's just going to waste my time and it's going to make me stressed. What do you think about Emacs? I think it's fine. Emacs is fine. I think it's good. I think depends how you're using it, though. If you're using it and you're wasting all of your time configuring it all day long, and that isn't something that you actually want to do, and maybe it's something like if you're doing it for like a YouTube channel, or if you're doing it because you truly love it, then sure, fine. But if you're doing it because like you're chasing some sort of dragon, then I'd recommend against it. Hi, do you use Pop! OS on your Mac? No, I didn't even know I could. I have a ARM Mac. So, no. Anyway, by the way, if you're finding this stream useful, like nobody's liked the stream. Like you guys can click the like button. We have like 25, like there's been like good amount of people probably in and out of the stream. And if what I'm saying is vibing at all, it's like, come on, like if any of this is sticking, like please click the like button. Yeah, but actually I'm surprised. After 45 votes, most people are using, or not most people, but a good amount of people are actually using some sort of personal knowledge management system. So, all right, if you haven't voted in this poll, please vote in the poll and let me know, because then I'm going to ask another question, because I'm so curious. And this is why I love having this channel, is just because, like, a lot of people I feel like are just sitting around and they're just like having these thoughts and they're like, am I the only one who's like a little overwhelmed by all these tools and things? I hate playing around with dot files. Right. Let's see here. I use Obsidian as a student to take care of my notes, keep track of all these lessons about frameworks, algorithm, math, English, but actually specify some time to write down into it to review later. And again, I don't think it's a bad tool. I am using it for a couple things just so I can read markdown files and stuff like that. Actually, most of these markdown files I write in NeoVim as I'm doing something. For instance, right, like the way that I'm using it is, for instance, I learned recently how to package, like how to transpile TypeScript and package it and send it up to NPM, right? So I have a package that I'm working on called React Noster, right? So I figured out how to do all this stuff, but it's kind of a process, right? And so some of the information can be found, like if I go back and look at this, and some of it I kind of like wrote down in a little document for myself, right? So there's a lot of stuff to remember. Like I got to remember just even like how I set out my package.json, right? Like you got to remember to like, oh, what does type module do? You know what I mean? When you have main and module, like which one is it going to point to MJS or CJS or this kind of thing, right? Like if you do it enough, you're just going to remember. What should I use as a build tool, right? Because like,